Okay, so this TV show is for young African entrepreneurs that want to build big businesses. Now, think about the last words that I said, big businesses. Now, let me ask you, how do you think you can do that without having leaders around you that will join you in the building process? Now, let me say this. One man can't build a big business. And if you're thinking that you can do it all alone, then I'm sorry to burst your bubble, you can't. And if you are really interested in building a big business, then this topic that I'll be speaking on today is of interest to you. How do you build strong leaders for your business? Now, I'm not talking about, maybe you have all the funding that you need to be able to hire people from outside, mercenaries to join you in your building process. I'm talking about how do you build leaders from your own system and get them to rise to leadership such that they are part of your growth. And that's the focus of today's episode on Business Matrix. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay, so you're welcome back. Now, the thing is, building leaders in a business is tough work. Many of us who are entrepreneurs know that this is true and is one of the major things that you must get right if you really want to scale and build a big business. I can tell you that for free because I'm in that process myself. You see, it is really tough, getting people to join you and then nurture them to a point where they begin to take positions of leadership, executive roles, and be part of those that help you make strategic decisions that can help 10x your growth for the next level. It is tough, and I understand that. But let me share with you 6 simple tips that can get you going on this journey. Number 1, you need to sell a compelling vision. Constantly sell them a bold vision. Now, let me assume that you have some persons in your team already that you're already thinking of, training or empowering to become leaders in the workplace. The thing is, you need to sell them a bold vision. I'm not talking about ordinary vision or simple goals that you want, them to achieve over the next 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. You need something daring, something big, something that outlives you and something that is beyond you and also them, because that is the way you can filter out those persons who are just there as mediocres and then allow leaders to emerge. Leaders love big challenges. Leaders love to be stretched. So you need to have something big that they can aim at with you so that in the course of aiming for that big, bold vision, everyone is growing. If you really want to grow your leaders, stop thinking small. So imagine the size of the business that you want to build right now. And then let me challenge you. Can you 10x that vision? Can you stretch your mind? And then see how that new visualization can change the entire dynamics of how you run your company and also the kind of persons that you attract and empower in the workplace. So, first tip, sell them a bold vision. Following the first one, which is sell them a bold vision, you need to give them extra work. Now, let me explain what that means. You see, leaders know how to step forward when other persons are retreating. They know how to step in when it matters most. I always say this, that if you work in an organization and your CEO or your manager gives you the toughest work, then you need to, go do some Thanksgiving, because it means, therefore, in most cases, that you have won favor in that person. Because frankly speaking, leaders give the tough work to those persons that they know can deliver. And because in the course of executing those jobs, these persons learn new skill, they develop stronger emotional intelligence, their decision-making skills, refined, they understand how, to think through, tough situations and everything in between. So if you really want to develop leaders within your organization, then don't give them small problems, give them big ones. Now, I'm not asking you to overwhelm them or create something that will make them feel completely not productive in your workplace, but something that moves them out of their comfort zone. Of course, that could also be used as a filtering process, because somewhere down the road, you could actually identify those persons that can't, make it to the top in terms of leadership position or executive roles. Frankly speaking, leadership is tough. So if anybody in your workplace thinks that by getting into leadership, they will have less work, and that is the mindset they are operating in your workplace, then that automatically tells you that, hey, this person may not be the person fit for that leadership role. So pay attention to those persons who always look out for more work in your workplace. Now, I'm not saying that is a silver bullet to leadership development, but I'm saying that can give you a strong clue to the kind of persons that you need to start empowering in your workplace to grow. Okay, number 3, I describe this as calling forth their intelligence. Calling forth their intelligence. You see, sometimes as leaders, we tend to want to be the savior in our workplace or in our business. And in most cases, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes learn to step back and allow the people that you have in your organization demonstrate their intelligence. It could actually be a way of, selecting and filtering those who are, capable or have potentials for leadership. So you can intentionally orchestrate this stepping back process so that you can start seeing people who are using their talent, using their skill and their intelligence to be able to solve problems in your workplace. But then you have to lead the process. How? Learn to step back and elicit that intelligence from them. A practical example is sometimes you could ask your people, what do you think about the situation? Even when you may have a better answer. Ask them, what do you think? Let me hear your thoughts. What other options do we have? What other perspectives do you guys think about this same issue? And allow them speak, or allow them come up with a different perspective as far as a problem is concerned. What that does for you is that it helps you to, first of all, understand how their mind works. And also it helps you to guide them and coach them in areas where they need to be coached. And ultimately, they become the kind of leaders that can make better decisions and execute better in the workplace. Okay, so let's look at holding them accountable. I know leadership comes with its perks, of course, but then it comes with obligations and responsibility. And whoever within your team that you are already thinking of putting in leadership positions or identifying as leaders or empowering to become executive leaders, you must learn to hold them accountable. Holding them accountable helps them to understand the very act of holding someone accountable so that they can do the same for those that they are leading. Number 2, holding them accountable is also a way of measuring performance, because you can't just give them a goal or different targets and then you allow them to run loose without holding them accountable for the outcome. And of course, thirdly, holding them accountable is one way to also track whether what you are doing or the strategies that you are using for leadership development is working or not. Because at the end of the day, if you are holding the wrong person accountable, it will show. If you hold the wrong person accountable, the person will complain, the person will give excuses for not producing results, and then at that moment you can tell whether this person is actually a leader or not. So learn to hold your leaders accountable. Okay, so let's talk about the 5th tip for developing leaders in your organization. And I call this give feedback, good and bad. And with emphasis, good and bad. It is very good for people to want to receive good feedback, tell them how good they are on their job and everything, but then you need to find that balance between giving your leaders good and bad feedback. The reason why you have to do that is because when they step into leadership fully, they have to deal with both coins. They can't just be comfortable and be happy receiving praises and accolades from you as the leader and then not being able to receive the other side of the pie, which is the negative feedback, the criticisms and everything. So learn to give them good feedback. Of course, that is important. Tell them where they are doing things right. And then when you see that they are not delivering results in certain area, learn to call that out. Don't put that aside, because eventually it will go a long way in setting the baseline upon which they establish their own standard for the people that they are going to be leading. So give them good feedback, but also give them bad feedback, because ultimately what you're trying to do is to have a balanced growth. Leaders must learn how to deal with negative feedback and then grow in the process. And then finally, let's talk about the last tip. And let me slow down a bit as I tell you this last tip. I know the last tip that I shared with you was giving feedback, both good and bad. Now, let me balance it with this last tip. And it has to do with practicing what I call on-the-spot coaching. Now, it's not enough for you to tell people what they are doing right. It's also not enough for you to tell them what they are doing wrong. As a leader, you must learn to leave the armchair and go meet them in the field and show them the things that you want them to do right. Now, this will not be a permanent activity from you as a leader. At some point, you have to step back. But then learn to practice this on-the-spot coaching. You don't have to wait until the end of the quarterly report or quarterly appraisal for you to give your feedback. Sometimes, while they are getting the job done, while they are trying to make a tough decision in their own department or in their own small unit, meet them there and give them that coaching that they need on the spot, so that the wheel of your coaching and leadership development process is well oiled, and then they can learn from you early enough to deliver the results and grow as a leader in the workplace. So those are the 6 tips that I believe would help you in developing leaders in your organization. Like I said, this content is for those persons who want to groom leaders from within. And I think I love that model, because ultimately, when people join your organization, you also want to show them a career growth plan and change their lives, more like they come in as ordinary, what I would call ordinary talent at the low level. And then from there, you grow them and build them to become champions. And at the end of the day, they help you scale your business. If you're expanding to other nations, other states, then these persons are available for them to step into leadership positions. So I wish you good luck as you implement these tips, and I look forward to our next session on business metrics. In the meantime, please subscribe by clicking on the button below, and also click on the notification button so that you get notified anytime I share new video on this platform. Until then, see you next time. Bye.